A very good afternoon to you. Many thanks for joining us. This is Citizen Live at 1, and I'm Janet Mbogwa. We've got an eventful day lined up for you. In our bulletin, we'll be bringing you details of the developing stories happening in and around Nairobi. We'll be speaking to Kendago Obadia, who is in Machakos, where Governor Alfred Mutua is launching 71 ambulances despite allegations of misappropriation of funds. He'll tell us more about that. Jackie Maribe as well will be telling us more about the Governor's Council. Of course, governors want to move to court over Martin Wambora's impeachment. We have Willis Raburu, who's in South Sudan, to bring us the latest on the ground. And finally, of course, Francis Kashuri at ODM House to bring us details of the ongoing meetings there. So stand by for that and be sure to interact with us. You can text us on 22422 or tweet us on @CitizenTVNews. Let's take you now to stories that we're following for you. The National Assembly will this afternoon debate a motion to be tabled by the leader of the majority, Aden Duale, on the 6 billion shilling Uwezo Fund. Now, the legislators will also be considering amendments made by the Senate to the regulations. Once passed, the youth and women who will have qualified for funding by the program will start receiving the money allocated to them.
At least a minimum of 30%. That 30%.
The Uwezo Fund was launched in September last year following a promise by the Jubilee Coalition to give the 6 billion shillings set aside for the second round of elections to the youth and women should they come into office in the first round. But since the launch, the money is yet to be disbursed, with both President Uhuru Kenyatta and Deputy William Ruto having called on Parliament to fast-track the passing of the Uwezo Fund law. And it will be the first order of business when Parliament resumes this afternoon, where legislators are expected to debate and pass the Public Finance Management 2013 bill, under which the Uwezo Fund falls. After demanding to be involved in the structuring of the regulations, the Senate forwarded its recommendations to the National Assembly, which had proposed that the fund be run on similar regulations governing the National Women Empowerment and National Youth Enterprise Funds. The legislators also deleted a regulation that would have made President Uhuru Kenyatta the patron of the fund, proposing that his role be purely ceremonial, leaving the policy matters to the fund's board. The regulations also stipulate that 3% of the expenditure go to administration costs and 500 million shillings to capacity building. 70% of the balance would be shared equally among the 290 constituencies, while 25% would be shared out through a formula based on the poverty index. The groups seeking funding should have between 5 and 15 members and have to have been in existence for at least 6 months to be considered. Esther Kahumbi, Citizen at 1.
Now, Machakos County government is today launching 71 ambulances that will be used to enhance service delivery. Machakos County Governor Dr. Alfred Mutua will be distributing the ambulances to be used by various health facilities in the county. The launch comes just a day after an audit report revealed alleged mismanagement of county funds. Our reporter Kendago Obadia is in Machakos and now joins us live on the phone for details. Kendago, many thanks for joining us. What is the governor saying about the allocations and questioning the use of his funds despite the fact that he's launching these ambulances today?
Well, good afternoon, Janet. Governor Alfred Mutua is at it again, launching today 71 ambulances to be distributed all over the county. Of course, as you said, this is coming just a day after that damning report that implicated him of misappropriation of devolved funds. But the governor has not spoken yet. I believe he's going to say something about that today. But indications are that the governor is moving on. He's saying he's doing his job anyway. Those who will be speaking or alleging misappropriation will have to see for themselves the kind of projects that he's launching. Remember, this function is happening in one of his flagship projects. This is the Machakos County Stadium. Remember, this is one of the biggest projects that the governor has so far done. And so what is appearing to be happening is that the governor is moving on. He is not going to be stopped by anyone. That is according to his men, of course, those that were working around him. And so far, we don't know what he's going to say, but it is clear that he is moving on, Janet.
If you could very briefly tell us, you say that despite what people are saying, are you talking about the people of Machakos County? What are their views regarding the allegations that have been made against their governor?
Well, Janet, as regarding the ambulances, of course, the people here are happy. The few whom we've been able to talk to saying it is good riddance. The people of Machakos have been suffering. Health situation here has been a problem, and seeing the ambulances is hope. There is hope that something good is going to happen in terms of health services in the county. Remember, it has it's a vast region. Hospitals are not so close by, and having ambulances is something that is going to help them. And so residents are generally happy. Of course, we will not miss one or two people who will be raising concerns, and I happened to speak to one of the county member of assembly who was saying that this looks like misplaced priorities, because they're saying there are various hospitals and health centers that need to be equipped. They need medicine, they need doctors, and that should have been addressed first before going for the ambulances. And they're saying that the governor is out to show off rather than dealing with real issues that are affecting the people of Machakos County. But generally, Janet, the people of Machakos are happy that this is happening in their county today.
All right, thank you so much for that update, Kenda Gobadia there, coming to us live on phone from Machakos. We'll have full details, of course, of that launch as and when we get them. Now, more than 10 schools in Sigoi constituency, West Pokot County, risk closure due to the lack of water that has hit the area. Almost all the water sources there have dried up due to the biting drought, and children are forced to move with their cattle to look for water and pasture. Judy Kosgei reports on a water shortage that now threatens learning in Sigor.
Another day of empty promises. Every day, this young boy carries a water bottle to school with the hope of getting water. But like many other days, he will walk back home thirsty, hungry, and disappointed. The thirst for water here surpasses that for knowledge. This is Nyangaita Primary School in Sigor constituency, West Pokot County. The lack of desks is not the major problem for the 250 pupils. Water is what they need most, and they need it real fast. Due to the water shortage escalated by the biting drought, only 100 pupils made it to school. The rest are walking for over 50 kilometers in search of water. All the rivers have dried up, which means more than 10 schools in the area risk closure if the situation escalates.
Sisi tunateseka na sisi tutafunga shule. Kama Jumatatu ilinibidi nifunge shule, nitume watoto nyumbani kidogo ndio hawa angalau tupate maji, sababu maji ni uhai. Singeweza kukaa na watoto wenyewe hapa na maji, na sina maji, hatuna maji ya kunywa.
In Masol village, where the school is located, almost all water sources have dried up, and children are forced to move with their cattle to look for water and pasture.
Shule hili sisi tunataka maji, sababu ukitembea kilomita 15 hakuna mto. Kilomita 15 tena mpaka Lomut hakuna mto, ndio upate mto wa Lomut huku sasa ni karibu kilomita 80 ndio upate maji.
Na vile vile watu ya pande hii, watu ya Masol na Lomut wanaumia kwa sababu ya maji. Wanaumia sana. About 20 kilometers, wengine wanaenda 30 kilometers wapate maji.
Hata ukichimba maji kufikia mwezi wa 10, mwezi wa 11, hiyo maji inakwisha mpaka msimu wa mvua. So tumeathirika mahali pakubwa. Ukiangalia mashule yote ya lowlands yote hawana maji. So inabidi sasa wasasi kwenda na watoto wao kuhama na kuwacha shule iwe tupu.
Who will quench their thirst? Judy Kosgei, Citizen at 1.
Now, President Uhuru Kenyatta is today releasing the national soil test results. That's taking place at the Egerton University. Let's see if we can get some pictures of that right now. There we have it at the moment. There's entertainment going on before the president will be able to release those results and flag off lorries containing subsidized fertilizers. We'll be expecting that Cabinet Secretary for Agriculture, Felix Koskei, will be speaking there. He previously said the function would be a clear indication of the government's commitment to ensure the country achieves food security. There we have it, President Uhuru Kenyatta already at the Egerton University, and the function has officially begun with entertainment before the speeches are made and before the national soil test results are released.
But this group, Your Excellency, has its roots in Nakuru, having been established at the St. Nicholas ACK Church here in Nakuru, who also gave them support for quite a long time. They now present a medley of a number of songs. Nicholas Harmonies, ladies and gentlemen.
Jesus is the answer to all these
We'll be bringing you live coverage of that function a little later on there at the Egerton University. Now, of course, South Sudan and the crisis that continues to affect millions of people continues right now. And, of course, the ceasefire, again, continues to be compromised in that regard. Willis Raburu, our reporter, is at Juba right now, and he's going to be talking to us on the phone. Willis, if you can hear me, what is the latest situation on the ground right now?
Yes, thank you very much, Janet, and a very good afternoon to you. The situation on the ground here is in Juba is okay, but yesterday we were actually in the town of Malakal. Now, while we left there, we were there just filming the humanitarian crisis as is, where, as you know, the aid agencies are already requesting for more in terms of funding, declaring it a humanitarian crisis, and saying that about 860,000 people have been displaced. Now, what happened today early in the morning is that the Malakal town, it is in the Upper Nile State area, that town has been attacked. The rebel forces already claiming responsibility. We were able to speak to some of the people on the ground that we made contact with yesterday. They basically saying that the town is under attack. We also spoke to some of the, what basically they're saying, Janet, really, is that the rebels allied to Riek Machar were able to attack that place. According to them, they say that they're controlling 70% of the area, but the government, on the other hand, says that they still have no confirmation in the same, and that they're giving it about 3 hours for them to finally get some tangible information that they can then share with us. But so far, that town has indeed been under attack. The importance of this town is that it is an oil-rich town. It supplies some oil also to some parts of the north. And so the reason for this is that the rebels say that they were attacked, and so they had to retaliate, Janet.
So, Willis, what does this mean for the ceasefire agreement?
Yeah, well, Janet, if you recall that the ceasefire agreement was signed where the parties were reaffirming the commitment of both sides in building a unified, stable, and peaceful nation in which power shall be peacefully transferred. That was part of the agreement that they signed. And the declaration of that ceasefire of hostilities, one of them was that the parties agreed to cease all military action aimed at each other and any other action, Janet, that may undermine the peace process. And they say that upon the coming of effect of that agreement, if you recall, they committed to cease all military operations and freeze their forces at any place that they're in. And also they were supposed to refrain from taking any action that should lead to military confrontations, including movement of forces, ammunition and supply, or any other action that could be viewed as confrontational. Now, well, according to the rebels, they say they were attacked, and therefore they have attacked back. So this could mean so many things, and already some people are saying that they have violated the ceasefire, and so the ceasefire has ended. The parties on the ground are calling for is, hey, let's look at the humanitarian crisis that already exists, and let's put that in mind, and therefore let us deal with these issues with decorum. But is decorum possible in war, Janet? That is also another question altogether. We are still, as I said, waiting for more information as to what exactly will happen in terms of the agreement, and in terms of the way forward, because then, Janet, the fear is that if one camp says this, the other camp says that, so one camp will use one of their reasons to attack the other camp, and then the other camp will also attack the other camp, and what we have is a back and forth, and we'll go back to what we had on December 13th, Janet.
Thank you so much for that update, Willis Raburu there on phone from Juba in South Sudan, giving us more details.